If you didn't already know, Binance has come out to say that they'll be leaving Canada in October. This means that you still have some time to use them, but just make sure that you close out your positions by then. That said, I've been getting a lot of questions on what the best alternatives are, so in this video, I'm going to talk about that. So in terms of the best alternative, this gets a bit complicated as there's no more quote-unquote go-to exchange that I can easily and hands down just recommend. The reason for that is because each alternative has their own set of pros and cons, and thus may be unattractive to you. You may be okay with some things while others may not, and vice versa. Now that you understand that, I'll be going through a list of options, and hopefully this video can give you a bit more clarity on what's the best for you. I do want to point out though that this video is based on the current information and that the content in this video may be obsolete when you're watching this. The crypto space is always changing and evolving and at a rapid pace. So I would suggest staying subscribed to the channel if you'd like to get future updates in a timely manner. Also, I do tend to update my website first, so check that out at www.cryptoforcanadians.ca. Lastly, if you're interested in any of these exchanges that I recommend, I'll leave sign up links in the video description. So the first alternative is to use a Canadian crypto exchange. When using a Canadian crypto exchange, you eliminate a lot of factors that one would need to consider. The first is with them leaving or closing shop because of regulations. With regulators stepping into the crypto space and tightening it up, you know with a high degree of certainty that any Canadian crypto exchange that decides to get registered will be around for the foreseeable future. The second is familiarity. This refers more so to user experience. This would include things like the convenience and simplicity of funding and cashing out from them using a single currency, which means that there's no currency fluctuation risk or depegging risk like we saw with USDC, and the ease of doing your taxes assuming that everything is traded against Canadian dollars. With that said, the best Canadian crypto exchange that comes to mind is NDAX. They've been around since 2017 and have plans on sticking around as they have taken the initial steps to get registered with regulators. Compared to the other Canadian crypto exchanges, they have the best liquidity, spread, and trade volume and have over 30 trade pairs. In addition, they have a bunch of advanced trade features. Just be aware that they are a much slower paced exchange, especially if you're coming from Binance, and you may really get frustrated with their pace. Also, cashing out with them is $4.99 via electronic funds transfer. The next alternative is Crypto.com Exchange, which is different from the app. To keep things simple, I'm just going to refer to them as CDC. So if you're coming from Binance, CDC is like a toned down version in terms of the available coins to trade, liquidity, spread, and trade fees. CDC doesn't offer margin or futures. You can only trade on the spot market. CDC's trade dashboard will pretty much look identical to Binance's and has pretty much the same trade features like limit, market, stop loss, take profit, and OCO orders. Another similarity is that you would use stablecoins to trade against other coins. With CDC, you can only use USDC to trade against other coins. For their trade fees, both maker and taker fees are 0.075%, but can be lowered, which makes them cheap to trade on. Lastly, they have gotten a pre-registration undertaking with the regulators, meaning that they have plans on staying in Canada. Now, as for some things to consider, I would say that because you need USDC to trade with, there's the risk of another depegging of one USDC to one USD. Another risk is currency risk, assuming that USDC does stay pegged one USDC to one USD, you run the risk of getting unfavorable rates at the time of going from Canadian dollars into US dollars and vice versa. Another consideration are the fees associated with funding and cashing out from them. You also need to go through some extra steps to cash out from them if you want to minimize your incurred fees. The last consideration is with taxes. As you'll be going from multiple currencies / coins to another constantly, that may present some challenges with your taxes. Now, the last alternative is a decentralized exchange. For decentralized exchanges, the term encompasses a wide spectrum of exchanges. Some are swap services and others are actual derivatives exchanges. This is what I'll be referring to in this video. So if you're someone who is looking to trade futures specifically, your best bet would be to use a decentralized exchange like DYDX or Apollo X, where no KYC is needed and all you need to do is connect via your wallet and potentially a VPN. I do want to say that there's a little bit of technical knowledge needed in terms of getting set up with a decentralized exchange though. However, once you understand that aspect, it all becomes the same process. A drawback with a decentralized exchange though is that they are chain specific. Some decentralized exchanges are on a particular chain like Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain and not on another. Another drawback is the liquidity. As decentralized exchanges aren't as popular as centralized exchanges are, the liquidity and spread isn't all that great compared to that of a centralized exchange. Also, just like I stated before, because you would be using stablecoins to use as collateral to put on your trades, you run the same set of risks as mentioned before about stablecoins and currency fluctuation risk. So to quickly sum up, NDAX is good if you want to keep it Canadian. Crypto.com exchange is if you want a toned down version of Binance's spot market. Lastly, the use of a decentralized exchange is good for trading futures. So those are my thoughts on the best alternatives to Binance in Canada. Now, if you're wondering about other exchanges like Coinbase Pro, Kraken Pro, or other centralized exchanges that offer derivatives, I would say check out my website as I've got a complete write-up on my thoughts there. I wanted to keep this video brief, and so I left them out of this video as I wouldn't be able to touch upon all the exchanges I've been asked about. So that's why I'm saying go check out my website. Hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.